Hey, how's it going and welcome along. I'm Rory from Rate My Funeral. That was Rate, by the way. So welcome along to another tech review video, and I always love this time because this is when I'm sent something fun and interesting to play with, and today is no exception because I have been sent the Revopoint Mini 2. Now, Revopoint have sent me a few scanners over the years, including the Pop Scanner, the Pop Scanner 3, and this one's predecessor, the Mini. Now, it's quite exciting to see what have they done with it, what have they changed, what have they improved. Now, they're touting more precision with a 0.02mm accuracy, an integrated gyroscope to help with the scanning and keep the alignment good, something called IMU Magic, which apparently stitches faulty frames together while you're scanning, and improved Wi-Fi capabilities. Now, with the Mini, it's all about scanning small little things, being able to get those real fine details and so on. So let's go ahead and get the box open and have a look at what the actual device looks like. Bah! But okay, seriously though, my standing knife has gone missing, so I'm gonna have to use a scalpel blade without the handle, which is obviously very dangerous. Gotta be very careful. Ooh. It's the old box within a box. There's the box. Okay, so here we go. We have the Revopoint Mini 2 3D scanner, and it is the standard edition. I've got to open. Oh, now, okay, so this one does genuinely warrant an ooh, because look at that. Oops. It comes in a proper cool little suede-y style velour carry case. How cool is that? Oh, I love it. Oh, honestly. Rory, what are you doing? Genuinely, I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm gonna have to bring this over and show you. So in another 3D scanning video, I talked about how I love when something comes in a case. I'm an absolute sucker for something coming in a case. So we have the bits down the bottom there, all nice. And then up the top, we've got all the accessories. So yeah, I honestly put something with cutouts in a case. I'm sold. I already absolutely love it. In terms of quality and professionalism, this is a really great first impression. It comes looking really, really nice. Looks like it means business. Got all the cables, so let's go through. Obviously, it's the good old tripod. Looks like it's had a little bit of an upgrade from the previous one. Looks a little bit sturdier. We've got the rotating table. Of course, we've got another little bust. So, I don't know if you can see behind me over there. Actually, I'll zoom the camera in. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. But anyway, and now I've got the two little ones. Rory, what are you doing? Such an idiot. Continue on. The scanner itself, which we will come to momentarily, let's just have a look, see what we get in terms of cables. So we've got a lot of tracking markers. So if you're having trouble with something that you're trying to scan, you can use the tracking markers to help get the scan. We've got more cables. We've got the little holder for a phone so that you can be out in the field. That is the top for the, what's it called? That is the top for the rotating table, and we've got this square one as well. So we've got lots of tracking stuff, lots of cables, and the scanner itself. I'm gonna pop all this back away. Let's just pop that to one side for the moment. Right, let's have a look at the scanner itself. This has had quite an upgrade. Here you go, you can have a look at that up close there, and that is the look of it. It's shiny metal. It's got some buttons on the back. It's got the USB socket. It's got the connector underneath for putting your tripod on. This is the previous Mini. So as you can see, the new one is I don't know, it just looks beefier. It's got Mini 2 branding on it. We've gone from 1 button on the back to 3 buttons on the back. The new connector has got, you can see there's a kind of security feature there to hold the connector in. Okay, so here I am on the Revopoint website. So I'm gonna go for Revoscan 5. Let's get the Windows download. That's downloading. Okay, so that is now ready to install. So let's get that doing. Right, okay, so we have this now installed. So now we need to get the scanner connected. So let's find an appropriate USB cable. It comes with all the different ones. So you can go USB to USB-C, USB to USB-A, blah, 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 and all of that. So you're basically covered no matter what you need, it's in here. So as I was mentioning before, this uses a new connector. So on the previous one, it had 2 screws either side, whereas this just has the central one in this kind of triangular formation. So it just makes it that little bit easier to connect and disconnect. So now it's plugged in, it's detected the scanner, and it's saying that the IMU calibration needs to be done. So let's press start calibration. Right, so hold the scanner. Oh, I remember this, right. Hold the scanner and click start for vertical calibration. Do 1 full rotation at a constant speed as shown. How's that? It said do 1, but it still says it's still going. Do I carry it on? I don't know what to do. Do I do another? Should I do another one? I'm going to do another one in case it didn't notice it. Horizontal calibration. Then do a full rotation at a constant speed. Calibration complete. Right, I guess we're good to go. An easy setup. Nice. So let's go ahead and press new project. We'll ignore the fact that there is a project in there that already covers this one, because I always start here. This is the starting point. So let's go. Let's get him lined up nicely in the middle. Something like that. Remember that if we have a quick look around the screen here, we've got quite a lot of options. So this software has come quite a long way since I last played with it. So right now, this is our distance from the thing, and that's telling me I'm far away. So it wants me to be closer. That was a bit too near. So it wants to be there. Wow, okay. Right, so we can go ahead, we can press start. There's a few settings here, so accuracy, feature tracking, marker tracking, so if you want to use the markers. A general object, a dark object, interesting. Color scanning. If turned on, the RGB camera will capture color data that can be applied to the 3D model to create a colored textured model. Okay, base removal, that's actually very clever. Yeah, base removal is good because that's something we normally have to do. Control by phone, so we're not worrying about that. Dual access, we haven't got one of them. Okay, load of instructions, excellent. So now I've got all of that done, I'm just gonna go ahead and click start. I'm gonna let it start filling it in, and I absolutely love this bit. I find this really satisfying, the way it kind of fills in as it goes. I just think it's really cool. It's the closest thing we've got to being in the future without actually being in the future. That doesn't even make sense. Oh, look at that, look, we've almost done a complete rotation already. So one thing I do want to do is, let's pause it there, because that's a complete rotation. And then I'm gonna lift this up and come down and make sure that we get the top of the head. And hopefully, there we go, it's lined it up again, that's good. Right, so that will get the top of the head in for us. So we'll now pause it again. And I'm gonna raise it up this time. Okay, and we're gonna hit start. And hopefully that's gonna, yep, it caught it, perfect, okay. And I just wanna make sure it gets underneath that chin. Excellent stuff. I'm gonna do complete. Okay, the point cloud looks very good, very clean, very tidy. Seems like a bit of a gap there, but I suppose I should have done an extra pass, maybe, I don't know. Probably be fine. So we're gonna do one click and then do apply. Let's see what it does. You know, one thing I've always found is these things always scan flawlessly because they are the absolute perfect scenario. You know, the thing that you're scanning is a nice matte color. It's a clean, even color all around. The shadows that it creates gives it something to kind of lock onto and make sure that it, you know, the point cloud is decent. You pretty much can't go wrong if you're wanting to scan matte, clean, white busts. But it means that it's capable. It means that it is possible to do it. So it's then just figuring out the ways to do the other options. But that's now finished, so let's have a quick look. And as always, yeah, that looks absolutely stunning. There's actually a tiny weeny little gap, look, it's left there. And again, that's because I think I should have let it carry on round one more pass on the lower one. So that's down to me. It just looks so smooth. It's even got under the chin, it's nice. It's a little bit of a wrinkle there, but again, if I'd have just let it do another rotation, I reckon that would have been spot on. So that looks really good. We've got some other buttons here. Fill holes. Oh, let's press that then, because that should actually, look, yes. Oh, I'll unselect the bottom because I'm not worried about the bottom, and then do apply. That should fill that little hole then for me. It didn't. Okay, hang on, detect, let's get it going again. Maybe it's the green edges, click the green edges also. Oh, okay, I might have done it the wrong way around, so it might be that now that's selected. Let's give that a try. Oh, yeah. It was the other way round. Oh, it's filled in the bottom as well, but I'm not really worried about the bottom. Okay, so yep, smooth, simplify, export. Right, so export. Okay, then what I'll do just to test it, I'll chuck it into my 3D slicing software and we'll see how it looks, because we can then we just drop him into the floor a little bit like that. So now I just like to slice him because this shows me how this would print. Oh, it looks kind of cool with the gyroid infill. It looks like his brain. So yeah, in all honesty, it's perfect. You know, you really wouldn't want anything more than that. So in one of my previous videos, I 3D scanned a big version of this dog and then I printed it. And this is the to be fair, bad print that I did the first one because I used the wrong nozzle and terrible old rubbish filament. So it's a little bit naff, but let's give this a try and see if this comes out. This will be kind of a similar thing where I need to get the different sides and angles of it. But yeah, quite a funny concept this. This is a 3D print of a model that was 3D scanned that I'm now 3D scanning back in again. So let's do a pause there. I want to be a bit higher. I've just discovered something you do have to be a bit careful about. So when I was moving that, I accidentally hit the button on the back which starts the scanning. So that's obviously useful if you're standing over here and you're not near the PC, but if you jab it by mistake, it's a problem. Okay, and we can just press start here and it will start scanning over there. It is a handy feature, but you just got to be careful you don't hit it by mistake. Right, and let's go complete. Yeah, well, it looks mostly decent. So I'm going to hit apply, let it do its thing. So the speed that this takes to do the processing is pretty quick actually, in general. It feels faster than they normally are. This one's taking a little bit longer because the battery on my camera died during this one. And while I was sorting the camera out, I left it scanning, so I got kind of an extra 500 frames that it didn't really need. Okay, there we go. Right, and there's our doggo. Okay, well we've not done bad there. What I was curious to see here, you see, is does it pick up all those imperfections? Because in the actual model, there's a lot of like little divots and lines and so on. And it has, to be honest. It's got a gap in the nose here, which is a bit of a shame. So I obviously would have needed to get a bit more detail on the nose, but you can see all the little pits and divots. So it's pretty good in that respect. So I've just done another quick scan of the face, which has created a second model. Now what we can actually do here is go to merge, and then we can choose this one plus the second one. Oh, one thing I have to do, I think first is I have to do the, my bad. I've got to do the one-click jobby. Right, so we've now got our point cloud, and that includes the nose, you see. So what I'm thinking is we now go to merge, we select these two, preview the alignment. What does this do? So this should hopefully put them together. Can you tell I'm learning this software as we go? There we go, and that has lined them up nice. Okay, so that should have filled that gap with the nose. So now when we do generate model, it should solve that little problem that we had. Okay, and there we go. Yep, he now has a fully complete nose. So basically now what I'm doing is the one click on the dog. So therefore it's taking that merged mess and cleaning that up and going through and doing all the do on that. And there she is. And that is our doggo with the fixed nose. Oh, we still do have a couple of little gaps, but you know, I've not exactly taken my time. I've done it quite quickly, so that's why. But as I said, what I wanted to see was, do we see all these little pits and marks and the lines from the 3D print? And we do, look, we've got all of that in there. That's showing us the fact that it is accurate, it is picking up those details. Okay, I'm gonna do one more test. It's gonna be this, my baby Groot model. It's a little bit dusty, it's been sat up there a long time. So this guy was one of the first things I 3D printed when I first got my very first Flash Forge Finder printer. I printed this out and painted it, and you know, I've always been very pleased with this because this was my entry into 3D printing and that kind of thing. So it's really cool, and I thought maybe we'd give this a try. So let's say, right, what we want to do, scan settings. I want color scanning. I want it to be in color, and let's start off with it here to there. Right, start. To be honest, I'm not expecting it to pick up the eyes because the eyes are black, and that's very rare for a scanner to pick up like that unless you've treated it, done something so that it can find them. So I'm not expecting that, so that's fine. So we'll pause there, and now we need to raise him up, and we're going to press start and see if it can find it, which it hasn't. I think I need to get a bit more of the face in, perhaps something like that. There we go, now this time it's found it. So I'll get a bit more of the body in, although I've kind of missed my positioning. I think a lot of that's actually him. Okay, so that should get a bit more of the body in. Okay, we'll pause there. We'll come down a little. Okay. Right, and while it's catching it, I'm gonna come down a little bit more so that it keeps the tracking but gets more of that body in. And then I'm going to do one more pass because I want to try and get those hands in somehow. So let's just put him back to here. Right, and we're gonna complete there. Okay, so on the point cloud, it looks pretty good actually. All right, that's good. Considering how quickly I've just done this. So let's now do one click. We'll let it do its thing. So yeah, as I say, the eyes I definitely wouldn't expect to scan because they're shiny reflective. So really what you'd want to do is either put some powder or something on them just to make them so they're not quite so reflective, and then you'd have to fix that in post somehow. But what we'll get is a very, very accurate representation of this model, which has got all the, you know, the bits of wood and twigs and stuff wrapped around all his body. All of that should come through into this scan. It should look really good. And because we've turned on the color mode, we should actually get the right colors in the textures. Okay, not sure why, the software just crashed on me there. So I'm gonna set it going again. And let's see if it can do it this time. It's taken a little while on this one. I guess there's a lot of detail there it's got to process. And it's now onto doing the mesh. It's now onto doing the color. Oh, I'm excited. Come on, hurry up. Woo. We're now saving the edits. Right. Okay, let's see. How did we do then? So as we said, the eyes didn't come out, but the rest of it's there. We've got a few little gaps underneath the arms. The legs are okay. To be honest, it looks good. It looks all right. So this looks good. So I'm going to export this texture model. Okay, and that has saved. So I'm now jumping into Cinema 4D, which is a 3D editing software, and I'm going to drag in the OBJ, and I'm going to just press OK. See what we get. In theory, it should just open up. Now, it has created a 650 megabyte file, which for a 3D model is, that's fairly hefty for a single 3D model. So there's a lot of data in here. And this is where all of the polygon reduction and all of that comes in, spending the time making it nice. And there he is, he's opened up, and to be honest, that looks pretty good. We've got a lot of detail in there. If I set my display to show us the, the polygons, you can see, holy wowzers. Yeah, that is a very, very detailed mesh. So yeah, so with a super, super basic floor, a bit of light, I've added some eyes in just to fill those holes, and boom, there you go. You got your 3D model with not too much effort. But what I really would recommend, you spend a bit of time in the Revopoint software, export a really decent model, and yeah, you can then play with it and do what you need to do. So there you have it. The fact that I've managed to get a color model out of it is really good, really impressive. You still have the same limitations. It doesn't like black shiny surfaces. It doesn't like reflective surfaces. You do need to prep. If you don't have a model that's, pretty matte, you need to prep that model either with spray or with powder or lots of tracking markers. It's still an art. There still takes some skill to be able to get really good results. The software, it's very, very full featured. It's a little bit complex in some areas. You have to learn it. There's one thing is that I will say is a lot of the other scanners softwares are getting much easier to use, whereas the Revopoint one has a lot of things, and you can see it's definitely on the route to becoming more intuitive and more user-friendly. But obviously, as they're adding more features, some things are starting to, well, what is that for? And if you're not absolutely perfectly versed in the software, you could miss something that could make your life quite a bit easier. If you are using one, I really recommend spend some time learning the software, understand what each of the areas are, and I think it will be a really neat solution. And I love the way that this comes. I love the fact it comes in the case. It's a really nice looking unit. It's smart. I like it. It's good. So I'll just finish up with a massive thank you to Revopoint for sending me the Mini 2 to have a play with. I'm looking forward to using this a bit more and seeing what else I can do with it, seeing how it compares to the other ones, really diving into it. Check my description for a link where you can pick one up, and that is it for this video. So if you did enjoy it, please hit that like button. If you're not subscribed already, hit subscribe, and remember the little bell will let you know when I've put up a new video. And all it is to say is thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.